courage. Now, I'm Catherine Sason of Today Life Coaching because today matters and you matter. I used to lead with spreadsheets and strategy as a CPA and university administrator, but now I lead with spirit. I help women slow down, listen in, and come home to themselves. And if your soul's been whispering, oh, there's got to be more, you're right. So scan the code behind me for your free guide, Rebirth from Burnout. It's yours for free. Meeting Lima McLean, founder of Rebirth Summit, was sweet providence. I just love her compelling mission to elevate truth and healing, including this international summit featuring over 100 inspiring stories of transformation and rebirth. And so it's my joy and honor to interview our guest, the beautiful and resilient Charmaine Grant.
How are
Charmaine,
you?
so good to have you. I'm just going to tell our audience about how awesome you are. Charmaine is a purpose-driven powerhouse whose journey spans from healing hands in the beauty industry to transformative impact in luxury and commercial real estate. With over 30 years of experience as a licensed cosmetology educator and salon owner, she built a legacy of empowering others through compassion, wisdom, and healing. And now a real estate professional and funding broker, Charmaine equips clients to build generational wealth through strategic property investments, credit repair, and funding access. Now, a survivor of sexual abuse and abandonment, her story is one of resilience and evolution from pain to purpose. Wow. Through mentorship, community outreach, and unwavering faith, Charmaine transforms not just homes, but lives. And with her, it's never just a transaction, it's a transformation. And her amazing story of rebirth, it's going to move you, inspire you, and empower you. So take a breath and lean in. It's rebirth time with our amazing Charmaine. Welcome, Charmaine.
Thank you for having me. It is such an honor to be here and to speak with all of these amazing, amazing speakers.
Oh, yes. And it's truly a blessing to have you with us here today. And so I'm curious, can we start at the beginning?
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell us, what was your life like before your transformation? Would you take us back there to what you were feeling, maybe emotionally, spiritually, and mentally?
Well, to start at the beginning, we all are a product of what we've been through. And for many of us, it does begin at childhood. And for me, it did. Life before my transition was filled with many layers to it. Okay. I grew up in a home with both my parents. We wanted for nothing. We lived a good life. My father was the provider, protector. My mother, because of her own generational wounds, was not very nurturing, but she was stern and she held things together with her resilience. Uh, Beneath the surface, though, I was battling. At 9 years old, I was sexually abused by one of my family members. It was something that a generational curse had been passed down throughout my family that shattered my innocence. It left me confused, abandoned, and questioning everything about my identity. At the age of 12, I watched my father take his last breaths in my arms. My mom had to figure it out with three kids and being a kept woman. It caused a lot of friction and discord between us, especially me being the oldest. A lot of that anger, the pain of losing her partner was taken out on me, and feelings of abandonment that she endured from the passing of my father is, what was prevalent. But eventually I moved out. In the latter part of my junior year of high school, and I started to make decisions for myself. I was able to take a technical program in high school, which was cosmetology. And so in my junior and senior year of high school, I did a trade program. And when I graduated at 9 months pregnant, yes, I walked across the stage with a huge belly, flip flops, receiving my honors. But I also graduated and I had a career that I had already begun. So I did it, and couldn't anyone take that from me? Who knew that the decisions that I was making so early would affect my healing and my story of healing in my adult life? I took on a lot of responsibility early in life, and I didn't really have the space to process it all. Um, it was definitely a hard time for me. Spiritually, what I can say is my parents, they did hold space for me through spiritual organization. And I always had God in my life. I did. I also had one of those praying grandmothers, okay, who took me to church as well. And the word was always planted in me very early. So I hadn't learned how to use the seed of healing within me, but I did give a lot of love because it was something I longed for. I smiled while I was breaking inside, but I kept moving forward. I kept moving forward because standing still was never an option for me. So I always stood to be a force to be reckoned with and just determined to succeed no matter what my childhood or anything moving forward I had to endure.
Wow, wow. So, my goodness, I don't know if you were able to process uh, just that brutality that you suffered at 9, having your innocence just stolen from you, seeing your dad die in your loving arms at 12, watching your mother, and then having the gumption to get up and go and create a life for yourself.
Mm,
Was there another turning point that forced you into your transformational phase?
absolutely. There have been many pivotal moments. Uh, some of the deepest turning points started when I lost the absence of my son's father. I'm 18. I graduated from high school. I'm in my career. I just got approved for housing program. I was situated on my own, only to have him taken away from me 6 months later. He was held at gunpoint. Yep. From a man who told him he had a license to kill niggas. Very heavy. But I grew up in Long Island. Racism was real back then, as it is now. And out of fear for his life, he was able to tackle the man down. He did pistol whip him, the gun discharged. The man didn't die, but he was paralyzed on half his side. It's a lot of depth to the story. I can't go into everything about it, but he was an off duty police officer. He was on disability. He had a blood alcohol level of 0.21 and other drugs in his system. But my son's father was sentenced to 19 years in prison. And the officer lost all of his, he was discharged from the service. He was take all of his accolades was taken away from him. But the praying grandmother that I speak about was the one that played a part in nursing that man back to health. He was assigned to her floor in the hospital. So many lessons in my life on how you treat people, because you never know who the person is going to be there to save you. It broke something in me. It was a very pivotal moment for me, but I stepped into a new relationship after that with someone who was a true representation of love, stability. We made a life together. We moved to Atlanta, and 6 months of him being here, his mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He had to go back home and take care of her. He was her life giver. He was her caregiver. And at no fault of his own. None of this was intentional. You know what I'm saying? But it still resurfaced that wound of abandonment. It I had to stop and truly face what I was carrying. I knew I couldn't keep building, life on top of broken foundations. And so those are some of the pivotal moments that I did have to endure.
That's a lot. And
Hmm.
then it pushed you into the phase where you metamorphosized.
Yep.
And so tell us about that transformation. How did it feel? The breakthroughs, the decisions, the
Yes.
healing?
Mm. Well, my transformation felt like a quiet storm, Catherine. There were days I couldn't even explain the heaviness. Yet I keep pressing forward. I always listen to that voice within, the voice that God is always speaking to me. I started leaning into my own healing instead of avoiding it. Okay. And one of the ways I did that was by longer carrying the burden of the generational curse that was handed down to me through sexual abuse. I made a plan to speak to the person that mishandled me, and I gave through a transfer. Okay, I got my power back by speaking up and acknowledging what happened and what took place. Sometimes it's hard to take that step. It's hard to, face the person, but sometimes it's necessary to free yourself from the burden of carrying that feeling of feeling like you're not worthy of love or not worthy of somebody being by your side. I had to forgive myself and I had to forgive those, you know, it was never their intention to hurt, but because of their own situations, their own circumstances, their own story, they followed that pattern. And so for me, I began journaling. I began praying more intentionally and breaking those generational patterns. I stepped forward into my adult life behind the chair. I found ministry in cosmetology. In my salon, I spoke life into other women while finding my own voice. I hosted sessions, set boundaries, and even partnered spiritual healing with fun activities that we could all partake in. And my biggest breakthrough came when I stopped pretending that I was actually okay. And that when I stopped pretending and realizing and faking the funk, so to speak, that I was okay and started just showing up as my full self, raw, real, and just ready for change, that's when the transformation began.
Wow, that should be your tagline. Raw, real, and ready for change. Charmaine, you were so courageous, and I just want to thank you for breaking that generational curse, right?
Mhm.
Your future generations, you're leaving a legacy of freedom. No more children after you will have to suffer what you did. And so, with courage and love and grace, you confronted those things that were seeking to destroy you.
Mhm.
Wow, that's courageous. And you made it through. I mean, I know that you had your grandmother, your faith. What other tools, practices, and people helped you through?
Well, of course, like you said, my faith, God definitely carried me. My faith has really been my anchor. The prayers of my grandmother, the wisdom of the word, the quiet whispers of, God just speaking to my soul, speaking to me when no one else understands what I'm dealing with or what I'm feeling, have been my lifelines. My circle of friends, you know, my network, my close sphere of influence, they're the ones that hold me accountable and keep pushing me to just be the best version of myself. And so I've also even found support, believe it or not, in, unexpected places, even in like my son's laughter. and the women who just sit in my chair and we just shoot the breeze with each other. Um, in the mirror, looking at myself, reminding myself that I am still standing. You know, the retreats that I've created, the workshops I've created, the spiritual sessions that have given myself and the women that I empower a space to reflect and reset, even in the losses, even in the losses, Catherine, that has also become a great teacher as well.
Wow. Wow, that is so beautiful. And I just want to appreciate how you are living life fully. And
Mhm.
that is overflowing from your liberation and into your clients, your customers, and
Yes.
you helping them. So could you just help us see now, how is your life different?
It's different now, I can truly say, because I stand in my power. I'm rooted in my purpose. Everything beauty, everything finance. I'm in real estate. I still run and operate a successful salon and barbershop since 2012. But I've also stepped into real estate. I'm helping families build generational wealth. I've expanded into the financial space and I've been educating others on personal credit, business funding. I have truly aligned my gifts with my purpose, helping others heal, not only personally, but to elevate them financially. My life is not just about survival anymore. Catherine, my life is about the legacy that I leave behind, the
Absolutely.
freedom I have in my strength and power, and being able to live fully in the presence of God. I'm emotionally stable, I'm spiritually grounded, and I'm mentally clear. And most important, I'm no longer afraid of being seen or even being heard.
I love that. And don't ever stop sharing your message. Charmaine, you have moved from salon ownership to real estate to finance. You are like forging new paths for women and communities. You are trailblazing and creating amazing legacies. Thank you so much. And I think, yes, you had trauma, you had abuse, you had abandonment, you overcame those. And so, as you are speaking with your customers and helping other women because of all that you've been through, tell us more about how that mission, that work is looking like in the world.
Well, I have built a life that allows others to rebuild theirs. Through my ministry behind the chair, I create healing spaces for women to talk, cry, laugh, pray, grow. All of my folks that know, they know this is everything that is encompassed in the space that I have created. And I host theme sessions that speak to emotional, spiritual, and the practice of just well being, from setting boundaries to learning self defense. Through my business ventures and credit and funding, I've helped people align their mindset because that's what it is about. Teaching them how to secure their homes, to launch businesses, to transform their future. I also do a lot of giving back in the salon. It has served as a meeting place for back to school events, Toys for Tots, various homeless initiatives. There's so much that we do as a group, as a force to be reckoned with in the community as well. At the end of August, I'll be launching my very first book. I'm excited about that. And everything I do from from beauty to finance is all wrapped in love. It's just unconditional love and it's driven by the passion to just make sure that no one feels like they have to do life by themselves.
Yes, we can do anything when we know we're unconditionally loved.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, maybe there's somebody here who is where you might have been. Maybe they still feel stuck or in pain. What's a message you can give them, Charmaine?
So, my message to you, if you are feeling stuck, if you are in pain, is that you are not what happened to you. You are who you choose to become. Although pain is real, so is healing. And there is life, excuse me, beyond the heartbreak, beyond the loss, beyond the pain, the silence. You know, you don't have to have it all figured out. I don't have it all figured. I'm still learning. It's still, you are always work in progress. I promise you, because we're always evolving. So don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself grace. Trust the inner voice in you. Let God guide you. Know that you are worthy of love, worthy of peace, and capable of transforming your story into something powerful. Know that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Okay. And that you will always, because God has promised you, pressed down, shaken together, running over, you will always have an abundance if you believe. Trust in yourself. Don't ever give up on you, because your breakthrough might be on the other side of the very thing you're afraid to face. So to God be the glory. I love you all. No one has ever told you that. Trust me, I do. And in the famous words of Maya Angelou, still I rise. Still I rise. Still I rise.
Yes, yes, yes. Still we will rise. Well, thank you, Charmaine, for sharing your compassionate heart and your powerful story. You don't just build homes, you build hope, healing, and legacy. And may your own life keep overflowing with that same grace and beauty and belief that you pour into others. Bless you, Charmaine, and thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Well, this has been another incredible conversation on the Rebirth Summit 2025 Stories of Unyielding Courage. And I'm Catherine Sason, and it's been an honor to host this interview with the resilient, the empowering, and the faith filled Charmaine Grant as part of this global movement for healing and transformation. And don't forget your free gift, Rebirth from Burnout, because you may be on the verge of your rebirth, which will be uncomfortable and convenient, but as Charmaine has testified, it is worth it. Your faith will grow and your presence will be felt in this world. So stay tuned for more interviews from courageous speakers all around the world. Until next time, this is Rebirth TV, signing off.